Okay, we're moving on to problem number 8, and as you know, we will give everything a little bit of a different twist and a different turn, and now we're not being asked to find the formula. We're given a formula. The function, or a function, has the formula y is equal to 5 minus x. Okay, so that would be y. Let's get with a thicker marker so it shows up better on our video. Let's go with y is equal to 5 minus x. Alright, now copy and complete the following table for this function. Alright, so we have x and y values, and we've done this before, but we're not just doing this. Before we would just complete the table and then move on to our next problem. So you can see each problem has at least 3 or 4, sometimes 5 different parts to it. So pay close attention to each part as I pay close attention to these points. So if we were to plug in the value, you can show your work by putting 5 minus x, which is 0. 5 minus 0, what would that be? That would be 5. How about 5 minus 1? That would be 4. How about 5 minus 2? That would be 3. 3, well, 5 minus 3 would be 2. Then 5 minus 4 would be 1. And 5 minus 5 would be 0. Okay? Now, if you're told to show your work, and you will be asked further on, and particularly when you move into higher levels of math, this is something very simple. But if you're told to show your work, you should show 5, and I'll just write it over here. You could have just written 5 minus 0, excuse me, y is equal to 5 minus 0, and so y is equal to 5. And then you would have written y is equal to 5 minus 1, and y is equal to 4, and so on and so forth. Okay? Now, I'm not really trying to show you how to subtract simple numbers, so I'm not asking you to show your work here. I will assume that you can do some simple subtraction. What I'm really more interested in is that you're able to plot these points as they ask in the next one. So let's go get our black marker and let's plot. We're told plot the 6 points in this table on a graph. Okay, so as we can see, 5 is the big number. If I were drawing my graph, I might just extend it out 5, 5, 5, 5. You can certainly put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever works best for you, but just make sure you know where every point goes. Okay, don't be sloppy, and if you don't put the numbers in, then you better count them. Okay, now if I'm going 5, 0, I would just move 5 and then 0. So that's my, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. We're not moving 5, 0. And again, the instructor is not following his own directions. We're supposed to go X first, right? And I think one of you caught that and just sent me a message, huh? No, not quite. Let's see. We go X first. 0 and then up 5 all the way up here. And I think if we were doing it in class, you would have raised your hand and said, Mr. Cartagena, yeah, you've done it already a few times, haven't you? Okay, so we go positive 1, positive 4, okay. And we go positive 2, positive 3. And we go positive 3, positive 2. And we go positive 4, positive 1. And then we will go positive 5, 0. Okay. Now, we have our 5 points, or excuse me, 6 points plotted, because 0 is a point, 0 through 5. And now we're told to draw a line through the points and extend it into the second and fourth quadrant. So let's just set up our little diagram or label our quadrants as such. And we're told to extend into the second and fourth. Now, all of our points were in the first quadrant or were exactly on the axis. So we know that we have to extend further out beyond. And we can see, I'm going to go with the thinner one this time so we can preserve our points. In fact, I'm going to go with another color like we did before with the red. So, you might say, well, how would I do this? Well, I'm going to extend. I'm going to connect these points, right? But in order to do it, I have to extend further out, so I'm just going to extend into the fourth quadrant. And you could take your ruler, you could have done the same thing. You say, well, I'm going to extend this all the way out. Just make sure it's right, and into the second quadrant. So our graph would look something like that, extending out. And notice again that we're perfectly going across 1 and down 1. So I know that I can maintain, and I should be intersecting these whole number lines, let's say. So this is the line of 10, and this is the -5. I shouldn't be crossing through in the middle. Should be right through. It's almost like it's dissecting the cube on an angle. All right. Now, we're told to copy and paste these tables by referring to your graph. So if we were to refer to the graph and we were to refer to the x values that they give us, we would have to go first to the -4. I'm not going to write these out just for the sake of time. I will go out to -4. Well, what's my y value? Well, I have to come all the way up here, and I'd see my y value is +9. You may not be able to see that so well on the video due to the resolution, but that is 9. Now, what would be our -3? Well, -3 would come all the way up to 8. -2 would come all the way up to 7. And -1 would come all the way up to 6, so that's positive. These are all negative, positive into the second quadrant. Now, what about these higher positive values of x, 6, 7, 8, and 9? Well, 6 would go into -1 territory, 7 would go to -2, 8 would go to -3, and 9 would go to -4. So, we could have just written those. You could write them down. I'm just pointing them out to you. And we've done 8 through D, and let's move on to our last problem in our next video.